they're just going to look like fools, man. So I think there's only one place for us to start, man. There's only one place for us to start. Let me just hit my mark here, man. All right. So Eriksen. First of all, thankfully, he's breathing, he's alive, he's well. Because that was weird. And that was very difficult to watch. That was very hard to sort of take in, man. So I think, first of all, just your general thoughts. I think even more than general thoughts, I think the general thoughts are the same. So I think that's not even really the question I want to ask. I think the main footballing question is Denmark and the players going out. Now, my views, and I want to hear what your views are. My view is this. Because you see, I think it's only like me reading through that I actually understand what Finland actually happened. So it's Finland's first major tournament. It is, I think, their first victory in a major tournament, because a guy from Finland on one of the streams said, "Bro, this is our biggest victory we've ever had in our history, but I don't know how to celebrate." And my thing is, they won the game. They have 3 points. That's fair. That's not changing. But I believe that Denmark should not have gone through. First of all, gladly that he survived, but you almost saw your teammates, or for some people, a close friend of yours, die. That will mess with you. Also, you lost your best player. Not through injury, through the weirdest of circumstances. I would think you would need, at the very least, minimum 24 hours to go through there. So we heard that Eriksen said, okay, you guys can go through and play. If I was Denmark's manager, I'd be like, Eriksen, thank you for giving the whole thing. We need 24 hours. We need 24 hours, make you go through and everything, and then let's get back. Because I looked at that Denmark guys, and of course, they are the superior team. They're the better team. And Finland were like David against Goliath. But you could see that it was still weighing on their minds. You look at Finland's goal, you could say that lapse in concentration, or was the defender's mind still somewhere else? Højbjerg, you could see the pressure he was on in taking that penalty. Now, I would think that surely he must have I think Delaney would be a better penalty taker than him, but it is what it is.
Go wait, should take it. Go wait.
Yeah, go wait or something. But he stepped up and you could see how nervous he was taking it because of the weight on what happened and maybe how much it would have meant to really score that goal and maybe win it for Denmark. So let me come first to Hussein. So Hussein, I mean, where do you stand with it? Is it a case of Denmark, they went out, they decided to play, boom, or do you think it's a case of like, no, the manager, somebody should have said, no, we need 24 hours before these guys go out and play based on just what happened?
Yeah, so first off, I want to say, prayers to Christian Eriksen and his family. It's good to hear that, he's conscious, he's, getting up. But I also want to give a shout out to the Denmark team as well. They're covering him, giving him privacy. Kasper Schmeichel, consoling his wife. And then Simon Kjær with the CPR, that really saved him there. So, kudos to the Danish team. But in terms of the match today, I think it shouldn't have been played today. Everyone is saying that.
Okay. So are you now putting the blame on UEFA then?
So what I'll say is that first off, they were saying that Christian Eriksen talked to the team. He FaceTimed the team, and they're saying that he wanted them to continue. But if he didn't want them to continue, obviously that's fine on them. But you could just imagine how the players are feeling that someone just collapsed right in front of their eyes, and that could be mentally just kind of hurting them. So I don't really see the need for UEFA to say, okay, if he said it, let's continue the match. I think there should have been a 24-hour break to give this team the time to kind of recover from that. Look at players like Kasper Schmeichel, for example. This is not the first time that he's witnessed this kind of incident. He's witnessed this when he was at Leicester. Unfortunately, Kunfachai with the helicopter crash.
Yeah.
So it's moments like that, that's hurting this team, and you could kind of see it. It's like you said, there was pressure on Højbjerg when he was taking the penalty, and then there was just pressure on the Danish team as well. I think when they were kind of warming up, you could kind of tell by their facial expressions they weren't really in for it. So that's why I personally believe that the match shouldn't have continued.
Jamal?
Yeah, man. I was 100% shocked when the game restarted.
I was so shocked, bro. No, because it's funny you said that because obviously I was doing like the lineup preview for the Belgium theme game, and then because I always look on Google just to see what matches are happening, and then it just said TBD, like postponed. And then someone said, "Oh, it's continuing." I said, no, and then it then said halftime. I said, "What?" I was shocked that they were continuing because I just assumed that this will be like tomorrow, or they're just trying to find some other day. I was shocked that you're gonna go out and still play. I was shocked.
Yeah. Because I actually screamed when I see the match started back because I didn't even know Christian Eriksen, and bro, my knees was weak. I couldn't watch that, man. That
it was awful.
Yeah, same.
Bro, that was so. Imagine players who actually know him as a friend and as a teammate. I did not know how these players could play. I gave them respect, man. And next thing, you telling me if Kasper Schmeichel was fully 100%, he's not saving that, guys? Come on,
he would have saved that.
The defender. What about the defender? He just went to sleep. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm hearing is the Switzerland players wanted to play, and bro, if you guys wanted to play, you can't complain, because if it was your choice and not you, FIFA or UEFA, I think Switzerland have to take that L, man.
No. Also, I mean Denmark.
Sorry, Denmark.
No, but see, my thing is that I do believe that the Denmark players are okay. Like, if that's your decision, hence why I say Finland should not have any qualms with it. If the Denmark wanted to play, it's clear.
Yeah.
My thing is that the Denmark manager should have stepped in and said, guys, I am the manager here. I'm responsible for this team, and I'm responsible for giving this team the best chance of winning this competition. And the best chance we have is to reset 24 hours, come in mentally afresh and go through. So I think the Denmark manager should have said, no, guys, had a discussion with the guys, say, look, I know you guys want to play. I know you're ready to play. As a manager and so forth, no, we need at the very minimum 24 hours just to take this out of our system, get it out and boom. It is way too soon. Way too soon.
Yeah, and one quick thing I want to say before I go is I just feel this has damaged Denmark tournament. I feel they're going to finish bottom of the group. I don't know about you guys. I know we will talk about the groups later, but for me, I think Denmark, I feel mentally, I don't feel they're right for this tournament. So,
no, but because if you think about it, like mentally they are gone. We don't know how they react, and they've lost their best player. So
big point.
Eriksen is their best player, who they've now lost, and the way that they lost him. So it's like a double whammy. So
is he gonna play again, guys?
No way. Let me see.
Doubt it.
Wait, see, Jamal. It may be a case of his career could be over.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We now have to see what the doctors say, because that's what happened to Mwamba. They said this is so serious that if you play again, it could aggravate. So Eriksen's career is in jeopardy. I mean, his tournament is over. Like that's done. But
100%.
His playing career could be over.
50-50, bro. 50-50. Yeah.
Red Devil, talk to me.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with all these things. I think I think it's very, when these things happen, I think everyone really try and figure things out, try and maybe point blame. This should happen, etc. So, and to be honest, these are freak events. These are freak instances, and maybe I speak on my sort of medical thing. It's almost what I find interesting is it's from my perspective is that I almost have to, as someone who kind of sees this on an ad hoc, every other day basis, I almost have to kind of remind myself that the general public does not. So I will, I always tell people about how I, when I was in my junior training, and there was I think it was the Great North Run. This was a few years back, and long story short of it, this similar age woman to Christian Eriksen, she was about 28, I think, came in cardiac arrest. We were CPRing her for it must have been hours, and unfortunately she died. And what was worse is that she had 2 children. I don't remember the file was there. And you have to go to you have to go and speak to them, and they're basically orphaned. So it's so when people saying all this or this that, like you obviously you need to look at these things with perspective. And to be honest, one of the blessings that Christian Eriksen had and swap players have is that with a lot of these things, timing is important. So obviously the Danish players alerting the referees one, but more importantly that there's a defibrillator that's close by, so that can shock that's there. Because if this happened, in a way, it's a blessing that he was at the tournament. Imagine if he was on holiday in the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, and this happened.
Because the thing is that I thought it was a collision.
Yeah,
so I think initially somebody was running just to so I don't think they got the defibrillator to begin with. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think, because people don't know what happened.
Yeah,
so I think
and from what I heard initially,
yeah,
exactly. I think initially what happened is they thought finished. So I think they brought the physios on, but then I think one of the demonstrators, I've forgotten his name. I think it's Simon something, secured his airway, and obviously checked for Simon Kier. So he secured his airway, which was very good. Obviously, was swallowed his tongue, and then made sure that ushered the medical staff to come in so they could start commencing CPR and obviously getting the defibrillator on. Because I said, well, a lot of these things, it's time, and I've always been an avid campaigner of making sure that in a lot of big organization companies that there should be a defibrillator there on hand, because obviously when it comes to any cardiac arrest situation, the more minutes that someone is basically in the cold phase, i.e. they're not actually have access to a defibrillator, the worse outcome there was. And to be honest, if I'm honest, when I looked at what was going on, he was on the floor for quite some time, like almost about 10 minutes or so, so any longer, and it could have been a bad case scenario. So I wish Christian Eriksen all the best. And
but I think,
go on
again, just to bring in your expertise, man. I mean,
go on.
What is the likelihood that he plays again? Could this be a case of where, from just like watching in the medical field, that this is a case of where he would be advised to never play football again, or rather, what would you say, like as a percentage of the chances he's allowed to take the pitch to play professional football again?
I think they need to establish the cause of the cardiac arrest in the first place. Initially, like I said, the people thought it was a feint. It clearly wasn't. I thought possibly, I don't know what Christian's underlying medical history is, whether maybe he's an asthmatic that can sometimes do it, but it looks like it was cardiac. In which case, if that's the case, and if obviously there's no structural reason as to why he didn't, it's maybe a genetic issue or something, then possibly maybe this might be the last game that he plays, which will be quite unfortunate for him at 29, so but I mean but let's be honest, he's probably going to be like, I have a wife, I have kids, if it means that I love the game, but if it means that I can spend the time with them, and my family, friends, etc., that I have more life, it's a necessary sacrifice. I imagine that will be in his mind, as I'm sure will be for most people here. So, it's good to just keep things in perspective, and as a general advice for people who are watching, I do think with these types of things, it's always important to kind of know where your local hospital is, where you think, just having an awareness of where things are, because with a lot of these things, whether it's heart attacks, strokes, etc., like a lot of these things are dependent on timing. The quicker you are to get to something, the better your outcome's going to be, if that makes any sense,
So, and do you think that you just taking it to maybe like a more footballing level? Do you think it was right that they continued the game? I mean, do you think the manager should have stepped in, or you even should have stepped in, but like, nope, even if you wanted to go on 24 hours, out of respect, we're going to give you at least 24 hours.
I don't know. I don't know HH too much, because no one really knows what was going on behind the scenes. To be honest, like it's such an emotionally charged situation. That's why I say it's when you're, again, I guess it's from experience. When you're, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easy to kind of see it when you're somewhat removed from the situation. But like I said, like the example I told you with what happened to the women and then the children, when you're in that situation there and it's raw and you're having to deal with this ugly realities to people and stuff like that, you don't know how you react. It's different. It's you know, sometimes you react on emotion, sometimes it's logic. Like there's no, you know, there's no protocol to it, if that makes any sense, because this is not something that you deal with on a daily basis. So that's why I said it's like I can't really fault whatever the situation was, whether the Denmark players want to play on, whether you wait for whatever. Like it's just, yes, maybe they could have delayed it, maybe they couldn't, but I don't think you can really find fault with anyone now because it's just a tragic situation, and you just try and deal with these things the best way that you can in this situation. You know what I mean?
Marta, talk to me, man. I mean, with regards to Denmark still going ahead or so forth, I mean, should the match have still happened?
Oh, sorry. So before I finish, the only thing I would say, and I think Derek in the comments, because I've just seen it highlighted, is that the only thing I might say is that this could possibly raise a question argument about how much football the players have actually played, because the footballers have played a lot of games since then, over and over and over again. And, you know, is this... I don't want to speculate, but I'm just sort of saying that, like...
I think it was Lewandowski that raised the point.
Yeah.
Someone raised the point of, like, man, we have to play so many of these games. And these guys, nobody thinks of the players with regards to just how many games they're going to play. And because as consumers, we just want to more games. I think that's, man, like, who cares how much even if they're getting paid billionaires, they're still human beings, you know, playing a 90 minutes, very physically intensive game.
Yeah, exactly. I think that if there's anything that's going to be should be question out, it should be, you know, given the lack of given the code, given the sheer amount of games that have happened this season to keep up with it, and then going into a Euros, you know
having your whole country pressure
exactly,
on you.
Exactly. So yeah,
so he's captain, isn't he? He's captain, isn't he?
No, it's Simon Kerr.
Oh,
Simon Kerr is the captain.
Okay.
Martin, talk to me.
Yeah. It's a really sad situation. Prayers to Eriksen and his family. It's crazy. This situation. Well, HH, you watch basketball. This situation actually reminded me of the. I don't know if you saw the 30 for 30. It's by Hank Gathers. We'll look that one up. It had to do with him being a part of the Loyola basketball team. 30 years ago, I think it was back in the early 90s, where a similar situation like this actually happened. The guy collapsed on the middle of the court. You know, he had to see the doctors. They found out that he had an enlarged heart.
Oh,
so they told him that he had to be. They didn't advise him to continue to play basketball, but he insisted on playing. He said that he felt completely fine, and then after a few weeks, when he finally came back to play, literally the first game that he came back to play, he ended up collapsing again on the middle of the basketball court, and a few hours later, he ended up passing away.
Damn.
So yeah, it's on one of the 30 for 30s. I think it was on the first season. But yeah, this kind of reminded me of that. This Eriksen situation kind of reminded me of that, and like like Red Devil said, like it's something you're gonna have to think about, like, because your football career, it's like you never know when it's gonna be over. But I mean, you have family, you have kids. I mean, you have to.
No. Because the most painful thing is that things were just really on the up. He just won the league with Inter Milan, playing a very crucial role. Denmark were looking good. Like before this happened, like they would have eventually scored against Finland and everything. So his career after things done was on the up. Like boom, Inter Milan won the league. That's doing well. Although Conte's going away. Denmark, this is a pretty good Denmark team. I've now gotten back into playing some of my best football now. So, but I think as Red Devil said, I think he said is, if you wait up, let me continue my good form on football and family and stuff, because you've made enough money to be like, chill.
Yeah, of course. And I understand both sides, I mean, if they wanted to delay the game or just postpone it for 24 hours, that's understandable. And at the same time, you still you would want to play. Eriksen wanted them to continue to play, and you would want, as a teammate to go out and, play your hardest out there for him because he went through this serious situation. But I mean, yeah, it's just a sad piece of reality that it hits everybody. Like
Yep.
it's a reminder. Things can be taken away just like that. That's why you have to be grateful with what you have. Like as a footballer, you were given a gift, and in any split second it can be taken away from you just like that. So you just gotta be mindful of things, and just really appreciate the little things in life.
Abdul, talk to me.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yo, yeah. I don't know if you know, but I'm actually from Denmark.
Oh, okay.
And I live in Copenhagen, funnily enough.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And many people, they don't want, he's Christian Eriksen, he's not the captain, but he's like the biggest player in the team,
Yeah.
What was the question, sorry?
No, so I mean, my thing is, was it right? Do you think that someone should have stepped in with regards to Denmark carrying on because they mentally were not there? So do you think the manager should have stepped in? Even if the players agreed to play, should the manager or even UEFA have said, we're going to give you 24 hours? Out of respect, we're going to give it. Even if you're ready, we're going to give you 24 hours. Because it just seemed weird that these guys just came out and played the second half. So
to be fair, yeah, I didn't see a big difference in the performance from the first half to the second half.
No, here's my thing though. Even if they were dealing with that stuff, they were so much better than Finland. They would always be the aggressor.
I know, that's the thing.
I look at the Højbjerg penalty miss, and then I look at the way that the goal was conceded. Do those happen if the Eriksen didn't happen?
Denmark had 22 shots. Yeah. 6 on target, no goals. Finland, 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. Football, yeah, it can be a really cruel game. And you know that. But that's also what makes it a beautiful game at the same time, from the Finland's perspective, that you can be the worst side by far and still come out winners. I don't know. I think, to be fair, I think there must have been some pressure. There must have been some pressure on getting the game done today. Because one thing that people don't realize is this is in Copenhagen. Those fans from Finland, they are coming from Finland, booking hotel rooms, flights, and a lot of them probably had a return flight tomorrow, and their booking probably went, they only booked for tomorrow. So if they had to reschedule, it would have been a hefty price that they would have paid for it, and it would have been UEFA who would have paid for it. So I think that.
But then Abdul putting a price on life, are we?
No, you're not putting a price on life because, I mean, he wasn't gonna play. You're putting a price on. They are desperate for this game to finish because it would mess up the whole structure, and it would.
No, and then that's my thing is are you putting the whole structure, organization thing ahead of? Because in my mind, Abdul, my thing was I was like, no, there's no way that this game is happening. So now the thing is that they just have to figure out when next they can play. I know what, maybe it's behind closed doors.
In my opinion,
they do neutral position behind closed doors, but it can't take place literally an hour after what we just saw.
Yeah.
Would you play?
Did they continue? Wait. The Mwamba thing, did they continue playing after the Mwamba incident? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
No, I think the game was suspended, if I recall.
Yeah, I think the game was suspended. It's crazy after what we just saw, the emotions, people crying and all that kind of stuff, you then go out. It's crazy.
Would you play the Chich? If you was in that position?
No, hell no. You see, I'm trying to think of like, let's say it's my friend. Teammates is one thing. Remember, teammates is teammates. Let's now say teammates and friend, because you saw Delaney crying, you saw Christensen crying. So maybe those guys are like, this is our friend as well. So how do you get rid of those emotions within the space of an hour? Even if he calls you and sort of, it's still in there. So you're still
bro.
Okay, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, you have a point. You do have a point, you know. But at the end of the day, the players did come out and say, you know, they did agree to it apparently. So they can't really say anything. But the thing is, like from a, you know, when people ask me who am I supporting this tournament, obviously I would want Denmark to win, but I can't really call it supporting, because it's like, you know, that's like Newcastle fans, like at the beginning of the season, they support their team to win the Premier League, but that's not gonna happen, you know. And that's the same thing like with Denmark. I more have like teams that I don't want to win than teams I want to win.
We will get there.
I'll do that. I think that we are eerily similar in a weird way. In a weird way, we have very weird similarities in a very weird sick way. But continue.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was really disappointed with Denmark, bro. The thing is with Denmark, they are a counter-attacking team when it really comes to it. So they do struggle when they are faced with a low block, and they are favorites.
Yeah, the chances, man. There are so many chances.
Yeah, but HH, did they have many clear-cut chances?
No. My thing is that, hence why I said that, like, if we want to just go football cutthroats,
if they had a striker,
guys, be better. Like, the amount of times that you're just taking and the shots just going wayward, they're going over the bar and everything.
HH, I broke my monitor because of those shots. How many times did he get the ball at the edge of the box and just
Delaney. But bro, you have Paulson as a striker. I mean, I'm sorry. I know we are in a sentiment thing now, but still, Paulson.
You know what's messed up? I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the first half, up until the Christian Eriksen thing, did you notice like every minute or so, a player from Finland would go down and they would require medical help, you know? And it was frustrating me because they were like almost on purpose slowing down the game.
Tactical.
You know? So
no, but Abdul, you have to do that. See, Finland were like, this is our first major tournament and we're playing a team that are vastly superior to us. Use every single thing to your advantage.
But that's the thing. When Christian Eriksen then went down, I said, "Come on, get up, man! You know, get up!" Because I thought he was doing like, but I got frustrated because there was no like long period of play. It was always being stopped. And then I realized, wow, this is actually serious, man.
No, I mean, it's like, see, it's because Jamal raised a very interesting point, because Finland have just turned this group on its head. Because Denmark, I don't know what state of mind they're in. They're not beating Belgium. Belgium are getting 9 points in this group. So they have to now rely upon Russia. Is 3 points going to be enough? So they now have to beat Russia, beat them well enough, and hopefully, because many third place teams will finish with 3 points. So they have to now hope that our goal difference is good enough for the 3 points, because Belgium are beating them. They're not beating Belgium. It's just not happening. Like, that's not happening. So it's...
Hey, do you know what the worst part is here in Denmark? Yeah, like all the buses and everything, like they've just put up like this Euro 2020, like they hyped up so much just for them to go out the group stage. Bro, that would be so embarrassing.
No, but they was looking good, bro. Before they
were looking good. They were looking good, man. They were because it's so funny. Like, as I was watching, I was about to say, man, this Belgium-Denmark game is going to be good. Because I was really looking forward to Belgium-Denmark. So no, that's going to be a really good football.
Don't sleep on bro. Don't sleep on Denmark when they're parking the bus, man. Don't sleep on them when they're parking the bus.
Which is what Belgium will have to deal with. So
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be
Christian Eriksen, he has that Chelsea experience from parking the bus, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so what's it called? YSK Jackson, talk to me.
Yeah, man, that was something else. Because whenever you see somebody go down like that, you just it hits me because of my I have like a really critical asthmatic situation, so I'm always self-conscious about. That's the whole thing why I couldn't play professional football, because they just they instantly scrap it. You can't use inhalers and everything. So when stuff like that happens, it just really irks me and just freaks me out. And with his sort of career from now on, my uncle works in this field, and he instantly texted me. He was like, "I'd be shocked if he plays a single minute ever again," because it was the same case with Fabrice as well when his situation happened. And with this is strange, because what he told me was from what he found out, Eriksen had multiple tests before, and there was no. So maybe Red Devil can clear this up for me. I'm no doctor, but he's had previous tests, and concluding those tests, there was no with cardiac arrest and stuff, you can understand if there's a possibility of it happening, but with Eriksen, there was no previous sort of signs of it going to possibly happen.
So scary. That's what makes it so scary.
It could be another condition involving his respiratory system and everything. So it's a crazy situation, man, and all the prayers to him and his family. In terms of the game and should it have carried on, you can't blame UEFA, to be honest. You can't put blame on them, because at the end of the day,
I'm not blaming City. I am not putting any blame on anyone. So I'm just putting it out there of I'm shocked. I wasn't saying you, but there's people out there pointing fingers at UEFA saying they should have stopped the game. But at the end of the day, these are grown adults, and they decided that they should go ahead. And also, people say, there might have been psychological damage to them. They could have also been wanting to do extra just because of the situation that happened. They could have been more amped up to try and get a result for Eriksen. Maybe you never know that.
On the pitch, bro. Did not look like that.
Exactly. That's the thing. See, it could have been that they gave it 24 hours or something like that, because Abdul said something about the schedule. I mean, guys, really, is that really going to mess it up if you just delay it for 24 hours?
Really?
What's it going to do?
Really?
You're not going to lose.
Because my thing was that you've got several hours in the day. Are you saying that it's just going to just mess things up so crazy? If you just say, guys, I'm sorry,
it's all about the money.
Something crazy happened. I know you booked hotels and everything. We're playing this behind closed doors, or just play this in the whole thing. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But we can't play this thing right now. So, and I think the Finland fans would understand that. Okay, cool. We didn't get a full game because of something happened was beyond hands. We've got to give these guys time, because let's just now give it the fairest way possible to give them time, and then let's have a good competitive game.
Would they have resumed the game if they played it 24 hours later as well?
I think they start you go from the start, because it was 0-0.
Yeah.
Play from the start. You see, it would be tricky if it was 1-0 now. That's tricky. 0-0. Let's just start from the beginning.
But guys, in that 41 minutes with Eriksen played, did you guys see any signs of him feeling tired or bending down or anything?
No, it just so crazy. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's weird, man. It's weird.
What's it called? Hassan, talk to me.
Yeah, man. Obviously, thoughts and prayers go out to Eriksen and his family. I mean, I think that might have been the scariest thing I've seen in football since Fabrice, I think it was. I think that was like 2014, 2015. But yeah, man, onto the game. I think UEFA should have suspended the game. I think they should have acted like an actual governing body. I mean, of course the players want to go out and play for Eriksen, but it shouldn't be the player's choice. UEFA should act like a governing body and say, you guys chill out, maybe play tomorrow or the day after. But anyway, yeah, thoughts and prayers go out there, man. That was scary, man.
LB. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay. LB, talk to me. LB.
Sorry. Firstly, to begin with, thoughts and prayers to Eriksen and his family. Freak. Wouldn't even say accident. I mean, we hardly see things like this happening on a football pitch, let alone in sporting events, it sort of reminded me of, I don't know whether you guys follow cricket, but in 2014, the Australian cricketer Phil Hughes was hit by a cricket ball on the neck, and he died. He never woke up. He died
remember
3
that.
days later.
I remember that. I think because things that's because we were forced to play cricket in school and everything, and I always say to people that if this ball hits you, you're screwed. Because I don't know how many of you play cricket. This thing is hard as granite.
Yeah, bro.
And I always say that if this thing hits you, you are finished. And I think I remember hearing that, oh, the ball struck someone and he died, and I was like, it makes sense because that thing is like it's madness, right?
Yeah. And when it's bowled at 150 kilometers an hour, it doesn't, it certainly doesn't tickle. So it certainly reminded me of that. And I remember the game was suspended. So I certainly think that it should have been suspended last night's game, that is, between the two countries. And I mean, the psychological effects that this can have on the players, it's immense. So I think, mentally they're going to be, quite, disturbed from it. I'm sure the Danish Football Association are going to organise, psychologists and support to the players to start accessing, because, as I said, we hardly see events like this happening on a football pitch or any sport. So yeah, in terms of UEFA, I mean, they couldn't really do much. I think it was sort of just up to the two teams to agree to suspend the game, but they kept on playing, and we saw that it severely impacted Denmark's performance.
Yes, society man, round us off.
Hey, can I say one thing?
Go for it, Hassan.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, the BBC are disgracing it. Because when I was watching the game, as soon as Eriksen went down, they were showing his face.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
like, why do you? It's like,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
Yeah, and as soon as the players built a wall around him, they put the camera on his wife, which is really disturbing. I mean, the BBC are disgrace, man.
No, but see, my thing is that. Why? Like, and I think basically it's like there is this kind of attraction for negativity and sensationalism and everything. Is like you are focusing on a guy who is just limp and still and now breathing with his eyes open and so forth, and you're just filming the. It's like, are you sort of enjoying this sadness and everything? It's wild. It's wild. Yes, it talks to me, man. Round us off, man.
Yeah. I work on the weekends. I work Saturdays, Sundays, and I work in the morning. And in America, we had all the games started at 8 a.m. That's the first game was Switzerland and
Wales.
I watched that, so I was excited. The Euros were starting, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, no matter how bad the games are, North Macedonia, I don't care. I am watching it. I was hyped up for this game. I was watching this game. I was working at the same time. Denmark was looking good. I thought Denmark Braithwaite was looking good. I mean, I'm like, okay, Braithwaite, you doing your thing. I mean, Christian Eriksen is one of my favorite players. And then all of a sudden, I see him. He's on the ground. At first, I didn't really think too much of it. I thought it was maybe like a head collision or something.
Yeah,
like
that's what
that.
I thought. A collision. Yeah.
And then, because I think people just, I think the BBC stream that you guys are talking about, because I was watching it on ESPN Plus. That's what we're watching in America. It was on ESPN. And I feel like we got the same feed. It was basically the same feed, because they were basically zooming in on him. Like you can like see like them, like, at first I didn't
While
think
getting CPR on that, was crazy.
yeah. I didn't think too much of it, and next they're like giving him CPR and everything, and I'm like, what's going on? They called his then when they pan out to his wife or his girlfriend, or I don't know, but his significant other, and everyone was crying. And
yes, it's too much. See, I had to
just,
turn away, man. That was too much. I couldn't deal with that. That's too much.
at that moment, football's a game, guys. At the end of the day, this is a game. I love football. We play it, we watch it, we talk about it. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. I mean, people is a dream for people to play this game and make money out of it. But at the end of the day, it's a game. You win, you lose, you go home. That's it. And I
So,
just
so, 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 so on that, do you think that UEFA or someone should have stepped in and said, "No, we need to give you 24 hours," because it just seemed as if let's just get this going so we don't mess up with the schedule, rather than just respecting what happened, putting what happened as priority, and just figuring out another day for this to play, despite the players wanting to play on.
I think this is what I think. I think there's way too much that is put on the players. Way too much. Players have to solve racism. They have to make decisions like this if they want to play. You know, I don't want to compare because it's uncomparable. But the situation that happened in Copa America where the Brazilians, their players, they didn't have no choice. Like basically, like the players are always, they always put on the owners always put on the players when they shouldn't be. In my general opinion, I respect the players for playing, but guys, like I watched what happened, and I was emotional, and a lot of people that have watched this game from the TV was emotional. Imagine the players are on the pitch. Imagine, guys.
Which is why
I mean,
it's weird that they came out, but they decided to come out. I don't know why, but they decided to come out. Maybe they just felt that maybe that Eriksen FaceTime call gave them the motivation that no, we have to do this for Eriksen. I think see that's the weird thing. Maybe there was a discussion, maybe there was a deliberation, and maybe they insisted that no, Eriksen wants us to play. We must go out and play. So maybe that's an angle that I didn't look at. That if it's because I don't know how that FaceTime call went.
But
I wonder if sorry, I wonder if all the players actually agreed to go out and play.
Yeah, that's
had to.
Basically, I would want to know what discussion was had. Was there a disagreement? Whether a few that said no, we shouldn't play, a few that wanted to play. This is my thinking. My belief is they didn't want to go. That FaceTime call, Eriksen was like, guys, go out there, man. I'm cool, I'm fine, go out there. And they would have said, we need to. See, that's where things are.
But
I'm just looking at the body language. It's like the body language didn't scream, we are fired up based off what Eriksen said.
But the problem I have with this whole situation is that, again, why is it on the players to make that decision? I don't get that. That's the part I don't understand. Why is it always on the players to do everything? I don't get it.
What you need to understand is like it's why I said like earlier, is that like at the end of the day, like none of us in the panel was actually there backstage to really in a situation. So like that's why like I don't not disagree with you, Yassi. Obviously we've been on this for a while, and we know that UEFA have issues. We get that, so to speak. But when these situations arise, because it's not just like obviously here, like whether it's hospital or places, like when these things happen, yes, there is a structure. Yes, there is a pathway, which is why he got defibrillated, he got resuscitated, got moved, etc. And that was quick and that was good. But sometimes, just around that, certain decisions are taken that may on the outside not necessarily be perceived as logical or right, but just necessary in that situation given what's happened, so because it's just a unique situation. So I always find, and when I've been in these situations and stuff like that, yes, when you're on the outside looking in, you can say, oh, should have done this, should have done that, maybe could this, could that, but the reality is that like when
we're
you're
we're not on the inside.
You're not on the inside in that situation, and you have to make very quick, very decisive decisions. And it's only really in retrospect you go back and go, okay, maybe we can do that. Okay, maybe we can learn from it. Do it like with the Patrice Mwamba thing. Which remember they obviously learned a lot from that, which is why this situation was probably handled a bit differently. Because I think if I recall, I think of the Patrice Mwamba situation, it was actually a cardiologist from the stadium. So it was actually came in. One of the fans actually came in and then helped and supported that. Whereas obviously now, like these tournaments, they've got, I think, some consultant sports consultants that are there to train it. So even from that instance, they've learned. I'm sure from this instance, UEFA would have learned from this as well, and they'll improve whatever it is.
Oh no! It's so interesting they say that. I think from now on there'll be a thing of like maybe every football game. I don't know if they're good for football, but for sure every tournament, a cardiologist is at hand. So because even if it happens once, it's even too many. The fact that we've now had another situation like this, there'll not be a thing of like every single game, a professional cardiologist is at hand. That's hand, because this is like you could save someone's life here. So this is the thing, because it can just happen to anyone at any time.
But quick question is, guys, do you think this have anything to do with COVID?
No.
Do you think COVID had a part to play?
Red Devil.
Probably schedule. You never know.
What are you saying? Or just
because Jamal asked that, do you think this has anything to do with COVID?
I mean, as in, do you think he had COVID and this?
No, did you think that COVID could have had something to do with it?
Yeah, because I think he had it a few times. I think Tyree. I'm not sure. But
I mean, there is. I have no access to Christian Eriksen's like medical records as well. So like, so anything that I would say would just be pure speculation, because I've got no idea what his medical records are. All I know is that there is such a thing as, I think it's called like long-term COVID syndrome.
Long COVID,
COVID. Where if you've been exposed to COVID and you've been symptomatic from it, and then you know the long-term damage to like the sort of bronchioles in your lungs, there's with scar and inflammation, and basically it means that like it makes you more prone to infections, and possibly it could have led to an arrest situation. So, but I would be very surprised if he had that, or if he had an outbreak of COVID and they allowed him to sort of to play for Denmark in the Euros, so that'd be quite strange.
Yeah, I heard that the physician at Inter, I think they said that Eriksen didn't have COVID at all. They said that he, the guy's name is Piero Volpi. He said that he didn't contract COVID. He didn't. They weren't aware of any sort of medical condition that could have caused him to collapse.
Which is scary.
I mean, I'll make my final point, because I don't want to sort to move on. But like, you know, the reality is that like, you know, unfortunately, like these things do happen. You know, there is, and I get it, because people are like, oh, if we can just find a cause, if we can just find answer it. Like the reality is that like there are unfortunate circumstances, rare but not unheard of, where like something bad happens like this, and you're like, I don't know why this happened. It just happened. I don't know why it happened, and we don't know why. You know, for the majority of the time, yes, there's a cause, there's a reason, we treat or whatever, we know why it happened. But there's a small percentage where you're like,
wait, I'm sorry. Someone in the comment say Eriksen is still trash. I mean, are these guys for real? The guy just now had a guy that's saying he's trash. Oh, come on.
Wait,
no, it's like.
Wait, quick question. Did Eriksen take the vaccine by any chance?
Easy.
Let's no.
Hey, Chich, let me the last thing I want to say. Yeah.
Wait, let me just get questions drops and I'll come back, because we need to move. But I'll come out to you, Yasi. So from Hakeem, oh no, sorry, I think I missed this from Natsa from before. I said, did you check the Sorito leaderboard? No, because I'm probably last, hence why I'm not going to check it. Hakeem, thank you for the drop. He says, I know, remember, Hakeem is an Inter fan. I have mixed feelings today, Eriksen and Lukaku. Yeah, because we will talk about Lukaku for sure, but the Eriksen thing, yeah, that is unfortunate. And obviously, Lukaku's celebration, he said that, you know, this is for Christmas. So he dedicated his first goal to Eriksen. From Abraham Henok, thank you for the drop. He says, EPL prime continue. So EPL prime Coutinho, Hazard, Sanchez. Sorry, EPL prime Coutinho, Hazard, Sanchez. Play, bench, sell. I am selling Coutinho. I am bench Sanchez, and I'm playing Hazard. Very simple, very very simple. Of course, I'm not playing.
Wait, Torgan Hazard didn't play for the Prem, did he?
Prime Coutinho, give me a head.
Torgan Hazard didn't play for the Prem, right?
The real Wisky Jackson, shut your mouth. From Real Janice, thank you for the dub, Real Janice. So Real Janice says, remember Eduardo's leg break cost Arsenal the season. Imagine seeing the person you're friends with, or at the very least, see constantly effing collapsing. Bro, I can only speak for myself. There is no way
100%.
I would be in a state of mind to play a full game
100%.
an hour or 2 hours ahead. That's not happening. Hence why I've completely assumed that, this thing is postponed. No, there was no part of my brain that said this game would continue. So I was shocked those guys went through. So guys, look, all I say is prayers to Eriksen. Hopefully he gets better and so forth, man. Thank you. But hopefully he actually pulled through and it wasn't
the last thing I want to say was I'm so grateful, and major shout out to the medical staff and Anthony Taylor. I sometimes, we get on referees and everything, but I mean, Anthony Taylor today, man.
Yeah, he was swift.
Amazing,
man. It was good.
Amazing, man. Yeah, shout out to them, man. They did an amazing job, guys.
So, Italia. It was the opening game. It was the opening game of the Euros, and it was pretty much attack against defense here, and I think that this is a very different Italy. It's a very different looking Italian side, and I think it's an Italian side that's wants to be a lot more attacking. And my thing is, how do we really assess this Italian win, and how do we view it? Because look, I have given my thoughts in terms of talk a very strong defensive side, but because I was watching ESPN FC and Del Piero said something very interesting. Because Del Piero said that in the second half,